trainers, welcome back to Pokemon Deck Check. I would be Pokedan.
I'm the dancing bird first base.
And today on Pokemon TCG, Unified Minds, Rotation, Deck Profile, Rayquaza GX, right?
Indeed, that's what we have.
Okay, so let's dive into it and then we'll talk Taka at the end. We'll Taka at the end.
Staka.
About matchups and so forth. So, let's do it.
Starting off, 4 Rayquaza, 2 Yellow Monkey, 2 Dedenne, 2 Shuckle, 1 Tapu Koko Prism Star, and 1 Latios
Prism Star.
There we go.
So the Rayquaza, it's got the Stormy Winds ability. When it comes onto the bench, discard the top 3 and then attach in basic energy. So we're familiar with that ability. It also has a decent GX attack for 1 grass. You can discard your hand and draw to 10. Really good since we lose a lot of disruption other than reset stamp. So a lot of times that GX attack will stick if you opt to use that. We have gone for a Zeraora turn 1 GX attack or turn 2 GX attack focus to get that early game just kind of boost, acceleration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got Shuckle. I think his ability is Mixed Berries, where you can search out up to 3 basic energies and put them into the discard pile. And then hopefully accelerate them back into the field with Zeraora. Or it works great to, for sure, hit on the Rayquaza's ability,
Mm-hmm.
So
you can also use its attack to accelerate 2 energy from the bench.
Mm-hmm. And then you have late game, mid to late game acceleration with Latios and the Koko Prism, which works out really nicely. So then Dedenne just to dig deeper, because you're okay in this deck, obviously discarding stuff. So
Once you accelerate fast enough with Yellow Monkey, the deck kind of just keeps on going at that pace, maybe a tiny bit slower, and you're able to get the 1-hit KOs.
And surprisingly, when we first built this deck, we were building it around the notion that, turn 1, turn 2, and then, with the Yellow Monkey's a GX attack, that'll propel, that's enough propulsion to push the deck the rest of the way through the roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
But what we found is it actually has some decent mid-game, even late-game synergy with Koko Prism and the Latios Prism. So
Yeah.
in conjunction with like a energy recycle system, that sort of stuff. So you're attached for turn plus Koko Prism and a Rayquaza ability, all of a sudden, there's extra 120 damage or so on the field. So it was surprising the mid to late game acceleration.
All right. For items, 4 Mysterious Treasure, 3 Computer Search.
Pokemon Communication.
Yep, my bad. 1 Electronic Magnetic Radar,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 Cherish Ball. Then 4 Acrobike, 3 Energy Recycle System, 2 Palpad, 2 Switch.
So, kind of the backbone of the search is Mysterious Treasure, being able to grab the Rayquazas. Pokemon Communication is going to be your only real way to grab the Shuckles.
Or the Prism Stars.
So, you're going to have those. I could see an argument for a 4th. I just don't know where the cut would be. Electromagnetic Radar does bring some value to grab Zeraora and a Dedenne, but not as needed as like Pokemon Communication or Mysterious Treasure.
It also allows you to discard 2 energy if you need to.
And then Cherish Ball, super good, able to grab the Rayquazas or Dedenne or Zeraora, so a lot of value there. I think the search is kind of at a minimum. If I was going to go a direction, I would not cut from the search. I would add to the search. I just don't know where the cut and addition would be made, because I could see an argument for a 4th. I could definitely see an argument for a 2nd. I would probably argue against adding more electromagnetic radars.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would rather have the fourth or a second or even a third Cherish Ball.
Yeah.
Acrobike for acceleration. We're okay with putting stuff in the discard. Palpad to get back those key supporters. I think, honestly, that probably could be cut since we're not looking to get back Guzma. I think that was the big deal, is losing your Guzmas to Rayquaza's ability and such. So I think there's an argument to be made of getting rid of Palpad. So for now, we will just leave those here. And then you have, of course, a couple switches, a couple energy recycle system to get energy back. So, all good.
Alright. Supporters. There's 4 Lily and 4 Cynthia.
You want to be playing Lily on turn 1, hopefully. You know, other than that, Cynthia's your main supporter to shuffle draw, which you don't want to discard. We have thought about playing the Hapu, where you can grab 2 and discard the rest. I think that would have some decent synergy with this deck. We have not tried it out as of yet. I think the Hapu would go better with a Naganadel build, honestly. I think it would go a little bit better.
Being able to discard energy easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, as far as the supporters, I wouldn't go down on Lily, but I think you could go down maybe 2 Cynthia to 2 Hapu to try it out. But for the most part, I would stick with the 4 Lily. And that's why I don't know if Palpad's even really needed to get back Lily and Cynthia.
You can cut a Palpad
So-
for the Hapu.
So I think you could definitely play around with these 2 spots so far. So
Alright. On to the stadiums. There's 3 Viridian Forest, 1 Thunder.
Thunder Mountain's really good, so you don't have to attach to Zeraora to use the GX attack. You can solely focus on attaching to your Rayquazas. And then, of course, Forest is just super good. Getting energy into the discard as well as grabbing energy that you need. Because it is a grass and lightning attack cost. So that definitely smooths that over to grab whatever your need is for the attack cost. So,
Then for the energy,
but I think honestly the Thunder Mountain is probably optional. So you keep that in mind. Got 8 lightning,
8 and 8.
8 and 8, winning recipe. Some lists ran like 7 and 7, but that was when we had energy recycler to get back 5. You know, so we've upped the energy count to 8 of each. Plus, we play the energy recycle system. So, like, the deck in the past would run 2 energy recyclers, which would shuffle in 10, right?
In total.
And then we play 3 energy recycle systems, which shuffles in 9. Plus, those decks ran 7 of each, and now we run 8 of each. So, it's a definite good, solid compromise. In some ways, you could argue this is better because with energy recycle system, if we don't need to shuffle, then we just grab an energy for the attachment. So,
I see that.
so as far as techs, I think your Palpad, if you're not needing it, which I honestly don't think it's necessary with only Lily and Cynthia. I think it could be 2 Hapus, or I think you could do something with the search engine a little bit more, play around with it a little bit more. But as it is, the deck flows really nicely. It sets up. It does what it's supposed to do. I think we featured it quite a few times, right?
We've had quite a lot of matchups with it.
And
A decent amount.
you'll notice that I think I've been the one primarily playing it. And the Dancing Bear immediately knows what my game plan is. He targets down the Zeraora as quickly as possible. I think you were playing Charizard at the time, so it's able to get the one-hit KO on Zeraora. So if you take away your opponent knowing how you're going to accelerate to Rayquaza, and if you're not in a matchup where they can easily one-hit KO the Zeraora, then this is going to set up really nicely, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on your opponent. So I would say its immediate worst matchup is Charizard. Second worst matchup, of course, is probably Blaziken. Because both of those can easily one-hit KO the Rayquaza. They can easily one-hit KO the Zeraora. From there, you're going to have a very, very tough time with Wheezing Shrine decks.
Yeah, Shrine just eats up Rayquaza.
It has always been a Rayquaza killer. There's no way to heal it. You want a ton of Rayquazas on your bench for the acceleration, and then that Shrine damage is just racking up like out of control. So I think the decks that can threaten a lot of pressure with the KO, meaning Blaziken, Party Balloon, and Charizard, and then the Shrine decks, I think are going to put the most amount of pressure on it, right?
Indeed.
From there, though, the matchups get quite favorable. Because you're not having to discard and recharge energy, that sort of stuff. You can just focus on just streamlining the attack. So,
I know there's a question that everyone's going to be asking.
What is that?
Why no Naganadel?
Why no Naganadel? Well, we actually were huge fans of the Rayquaza Naganadel builds way back. If y'all would just rewind a bunch of videos months back.
Long time ago.
Yeah, about 6 months ago or so?
A long time ago.
6, maybe even 9 months ago, we were on the Rayquaza Naganadel hype train. And the truth is, we just haven't gotten around testing it. We approached this deck. Hey, we want to let's build Rayquaza. And Dancy Bear, how do you want to accelerate Rayquaza?
I just said use Yellow Monkey's GX attack.
And I said, well, let's throw the Shuckles with the mixed berries in there to help him accelerate, right? So from there, that's how we came to this. We did have discussion about Naganadel and all that, but I think Naganadel is strong from mid to late game.
Yeah.
This is strong early to mid game, but we've added additions to it to stabilize mid to late. Not as well as Naganadel. Not going to argue that. But there are ways to stabilize. Is it as strong? Is this version as strong or better than Naganadel?
We have to do more testing.
I still see the Rayquaza Naganadel struggling against Charizard.
Because it's going to be super weak in the early game.
I still see... Yeah, and that's something to think about, too. If, those matchups are bad against this version, but how much worse is the matchup going to get with the Naganadel, which is going to be inherently slower because you are setting up a stage 1. So think about that. So I think your bad matchups get even worse because you are a couple steps slower.
I agree.
So, but on the other hand, that may make your good matchups even more favorable because you have the stability throughout mid-game all the way through the late game. So, I don't see the deck gaining any good matchups, and I don't see it losing any already good, favorable matchups by adding Naganadel. Do you?
No, I don't.
So, I think the Naganadel version is still going to lose Charizard. It's still going to lose the Party Balloon. It's still going to struggle against any Shrine deck, right?
Oh, yeah.
I do think the Shrine matchup may get a little bit better because you're not as dependent as getting multiple Rayquazas into play.
Yeah, true.
So, but you still have to have a way to get all that energy on Rayquaza. Naganadel's not going to do that for you. So you'd still have to play Coco Prism.
Energy switch.
Yeah, that's something to think about too. Is now you're talking energy switch build. So
You gotta for sure cut the PAL pads.
I mean, are we talking? You know, if you're playing Naganadel build, then we're talking about cutting probably those four, right? No yellow monkey, no.
Maybe one yellow
Show.
monkey for the switching option.
Okay, and then what happens if you discard your one yellow monkey?
And he's in the discard pile.
So we're talking about all this, and then probably the two PAL pads. So there's your Naganadel line, as well as you're gonna have to have energy switches, right?
Yeah, there's your 2 energy switch.
So I think you're looking at maybe a 3/3 Naganadel, and then 3 energy switch.
It's gonna be tight.
The list is gonna be a lot tighter, folks, but it can be done. I just don't think it gains enough favorables to make it worthwhile. Other than I think the Shrine matchup gets better because you're not having to just flood your bench with Rayquazas.
Okay.
You agree or disagree?
I do agree.
But this is one of the most fun decks to play.
It gets a lot of fun.
So
As long as you're not losing.
definitely try it out. If you're in a meta where there's not much fire, then I would say definitely try it. But I mean, I think people are going to figure out how good Wheezing and stuff like that and Shrine decks are going to be. And so I think you're going to see more of those. I think you're going to see a rise in those kind of decks. So. Anything else, Dance Bear?
No, I don't.
All right, well, that's it for now. And until next time, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.